Welcome to the Gallery of Modern Art in Glasgow. My name's Katie Bruce and I'm a producer-curator here at the gallery, and I work as part of the curatorial team who programme the exhibitions and learning programmes, but also acquire objects for Glasgow Museum's collection. The Gallery of Modern Art is, well, we think it's quite a young museum within Glasgow Museums. It's part of a large museum service for Glasgow, which is one of the biggest civic museum services across Europe and has a collection of national significance. We have just turned 25 and we're standing in one of the main spaces here, which is our Gallery 1, during the install of a show. This building was formerly a Royal Exchange and has a long history, which more recently we have worked with a number of artists and also our colleagues across the social history team to explore more. So it started out as a house. It was for William Cunningham of Laneshaw, who was a tobacco lord, who in the late 1700s were the equivalent of the oil barons today. And effectively made their money through plantations and the labour of enslaved black people. So this building has a connection to the transatlantic slave trade and the history of empire and colonialism that this city is now exploring. This would also link to its later use in the early 1800s as the Royal Exchange. So I'm currently standing in the main hall that was part of that building. It was a reworking of the house and the site of the Palladian house that William Cunningham built by David Hamilton in the early 1820s, and the footprint and the look of the building, which is neoclassical, dates from that time in the early 1820s. It has also been a post office, it's been a telephone exchange, and then was bought by the city and was used as a library for quite a number of years until the early 1990s, when the decision was made to make it into the Gallery of Modern Art, which is what it has been for the last 25 years or so. So in this building, we also have a library these days. It's in our basement. We have 6 gallery spaces, so 4 main spaces are balcony galleries, which now hold a history of the building, but also some of our exhibition histories and our collecting ideas from when we started out. And then we also have common space, which is our community exhibition space. And at the top of the building, we have a studio space, which was the former cafe from when we opened, but it's now the studio space where our informal and formal learning programme takes place. The Gallery of Modern Art is part of Glasgow Museums, which is the civic museum service for Glasgow, and includes 9 venues across the city, most notably Kelvin Grove and Riverside and the Borough Collection. So it means that our collection is not just GoMA's collection, it's part of Glasgow Museum. So when an artwork comes in to Glasgow Museum's collection, it's not just for GoMA, it can be shown in other venues. So for example, works by Victoria Morton and Alison Watt and Patricia Cronin are on display at Kelvin Grove, even though they were acquired by the curators at GoMA. It makes it really exciting for us as curators because we have access to the knowledge and wealth of peer curators across the service and objects that our artists are really interested in exploring or responding to as part of their practice. Over the years, we've been able to work with the Arms and Armour collection, the World Cultures collection, and also the Older Painting collection. Within the building, we will show both collection works, but also new commissions with artists in a temporary exhibition programme. And this will vary as you come back month on month, and our programme changes as much as we are able to do this. Our learning programme has been at core of our work for quite a number of years, and our learning team work closely with the curators to develop programmes that respond to exhibitions, but they also create their own programmes which inform their exhibitions in the community exhibition space, as well as other programmes across Glasgow Museums. So it's at the heart of often what we do. So I'm one of 2 curators that are responsible for the acquisitions and core exhibition programme. My colleague Martin Craig works with me. Glasgow Museum's collection of modern contemporary art has grown significantly over the last 20 years, where we have been able to commission new work and then acquire that for the collection, or we've been able to pursue different conversations with artists to acquire key works or key capsule collections of their work for the city's collection, and then be able to show them as part of either a solo show within the Gallery of Modern Art or as part of significant group shows of recent acquisitions. So we have a focus on collecting works by artists who have lived and worked in Glasgow and across Scotland, but also we have had a significant amount of funding through Art Fund International in between 2007 to 2012 to acquire international artworks by artists who have had an influence on the artists from Glasgow in our collection. So in the last 15 years, the scope of what we've been able to acquire has increased and amplified to include works by Jenny Holzer, Barbara Kruger, Emily Jassir, and Wolfgang Tillmans. And although that was a specific amount of funding, our ambitions to collect international artwork that reflects the concerns and interests of the Glasgow artists and other UK artists that we hold in our collection has been able to be made possible through support by funds like Art Fund or Contemporary Art Society or the National Fund for Acquisitions. More recently, we've been working with Mother Tongue to look at the work of Black artists in our collection and develop a strategy for acquiring artists' work who have lived or worked or trained in Scotland. So more recent acquisitions include work by Aubrey Williams and Donald Locke and Maud Salter and Alberta Whittle, and a commission by Barbie Asante. So the work that we do is broad. It is often related to the site where we are, the collections that we own, and the ambitions of the visual arts community in Glasgow. For more information on our work, you can look at our blog, which has a series of talks and past presentations that both myself and Martin have done on the history of the building, the history of collecting, and some of the key works that we've been involved in over the last few years, which will give you more of an in-depth look at certain aspects of the programme that we've been able to achieve.